On this episode of Denoised, talking about using AI to bring back actors from the past.
More renewed interest in IMAX and upcoming films.
And some AI tools you might have been sleeping on. Let's get into it. What's up, Addy?
Hey, welcome back, Joey.
Good to be here. So I got the Google Ultra, whatever thing it's called, for their trial, $125 a month to
I knew
access
you would.
VO3. Yeah, so I messed around with that all weekend and Flow. I will say Flow, as a product, I mean, it's the only way to access the VO3 models, but as a product, it was still a bit confusing because it's like you get the subscription and then it's like you could use VO3, you can use Imogen, their AI model, and you could use Gemini, but they're all sort of separate products on separate pages. With Flow, if I wanted to make an image, it was kind of buried, and then I would make the image if I wanted to do the first frame thing, and then I couldn't find them again. It would like, it was like, I'm like, where are the images I generated? The video stuff was pretty streamlined. Yeah. The image stuff, I kept losing where my generated images were going.
As a UI developer at Google, who do you think it was built for?
I mean, it's built for creators. It is like a forward-facing creator project, like consumer-facing product. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm just missing something, or Imogen is something else, somewhere else. But I don't know. A couple things can work out. But for the video part, pretty straightforward. The credits are expensive. I'm almost through all my credits. VO3 and VO2, same credit use we talked about in the last episode with the API, the same cost. VO2 fast is a tenth of the cost and pretty good. And so I was actually using that a lot. And one of the kind of tricks I was doing was I would run a prompt through VO2 fast. If it was something that kind of seemed like it followed the idea that I was trying to do, then I would
commit to the more expensive one.
Try it out on VO3.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. That's probably how they wanted to have it used anyway.
At least for now, until the cost comes down. Yeah. And then there is some other kind of just different things, because VO3 is only text to video. But then if you want to do images, it's VO2 fast. So it was a little bit confusing of like, what features work with what specific models.
I can't imagine how many GPUs they have to spin up to generate a single image somewhere. Because how quickly is it coming back to you? Like a couple minutes?
The VO2 fast is pretty quickly, maybe 30 seconds.
That's insane.
The VO3 is, maybe a minute or minute and a half.
But that's still, I mean, if you look at it, generating on a single GPU on somebody's computer, even if you have like a 5090, like a 20-second video would be like hours. So they're like splitting that across, I don't know, hundreds of GPUs perhaps. Yeah. Per user. Times however many users are out there.
I'm sure it'll get better. More efficient. But and some of the stuff was, really good, like we've seen. It definitely is the best with like realistic stuff or stuff that looks very contemporary. Yeah. Stuff that looks like something you would see on YouTube. It's very good at that, unsurprisingly.
So maybe it's dialed in for YouTube. Who would have thought?
It's as if it was trained on a lot of YouTube data.
I want to do a quick shout out to two of our viewers that wrote us two amazing reviews. We thank you, Snoozer City and Teasbag. Teasbag's from Australia, Snoozer City here in the US.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for the review. And if you want to shout out too, leave a 5-star review. We will only shout out 5-star reviews.
Preferably 5 stars, yes.
On Apple Podcast or Spotify.
Thank you.
All right, so let's jump into our first story. Collection of a couple things on our radar. One is Fortnite. It was releasing a AI chatbot talkable character. He could talk with Darth Vader. Yeah. Being voiced by James Earl Jones, the famous actor who was the originator of the Darth Vader voice, who has also sadly passed away. Yeah. So they did make a deal with his estate and to get permission to use his voice to create this AI chatbot character, so you can have a conversation with Darth Vader.
That's cool.
And then SAG-AFTRA has filed a lawsuit against Epic Games for its use of AI and Darth Vader's voice.
Yeah, see, I'm a little bit confused, scratching my head here, because I'm sure a company as big as Epic Games and a production as big as Fortnite would take the initiative to get the correct licensing from Star Wars, and perhaps also the correct rights from James Earl Jones' estate.
They had to deal with this estate. It's between the two of them. Yeah. And it's not anything new for actors to license their voice for AI voices. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit head scratching here.
Also, how else would you scale this up to the millions of users that Fortnite has, right? Like, is there going to be a voice actor behind every one of the reenactments and every one of the different permutations of the conversation? And you're talking about thousands of hours that a voice actor has to do in order to fill up this like tree of voice interactions.
Versus, are you saying to train the model?
If you were to not use AI, and my guess is...
like if you were to like bring an actor in the studio and have them record
Yeah, like how
TomTom used to train.
Exactly. That's how traditional video game voice decision trees are made, is like you have every permutation of this conversation into like a string of snippets of voice. And then, as the user goes through each of the decision trees, you trigger different vocal outputs.
Yeah. But we know even with that, it never sounded great or natural.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any, as we talked about, the AI genie's out of the bottle. So like that, it sounds way better. It's
the right way to do
interactive, trainable. They had permission. I think from a statement from SAG, they said Fortnite signatory company chose to replace the work of human performers with AI. Unfortunately, they did so without providing any notice of their intent to do this and without bargaining with us over appropriate terms.
Okay.
As such, we have filed an unfair label practice charge against Llama Productions.
Oh, okay. So this was just like, you didn't give us a heads up.
You didn't tell us. Yeah. It's like, all right.
All right, relax, dude.
Yeah.
You know what it feels like to me, Joey? It feels a little bit more like they're taking a ceremonic stance, almost like a public stance against AI as Screen Actors Guild, and it optically makes them look like, they're protecting their guild members.
But are they? Because, I mean, they had permission with the family. This is like a key, use case. So it's like you have a family member, they had an iconic voice, they had an iconic character. They have passed away, and their family can still monetize and like live off the work that they did into the future. And this is just like a future. I mean, we're going to see a lot more of this too, that we talked about, like with the voice is one thing, but digital likeness. They're, just like capturing their image and then being able to license that out in the future.
Every one of those things you just said is going to touch with AI. Like there's going to be a touch point.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, do you need
a heads up
permission every single time you make a deal? Especially with, I mean, weren't there even terms about this already ironed out in the last negotiation? Wasn't that part of the point of the last negotiation?
I guess a guild and a union's main sort of source of power and influence is the ability to dictate terms, right? Like,
right.
And here it feels like they didn't get to do that.
I don't.
So they're just pushing back here.
I don't know, but it just really, this is the future trend, and it makes sense too. I mean, also, why if you were an actor, why would you not want your family to be able to profit off of your image and likeness in the future after you're gone?
And I was sure the use of AI would restructure the finances a little bit as well, right? Because now you're scaling up millions of hours versus one time likeness pass or whatever it is. So you're talking about whole different numbers. So that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I mean, how do you figure out the monetary compensation for that? I don't know.
Yep.
And where do you draw the line? Yeah, is it like, okay, this Fortnite release with this specific Vader character is what you're licensing for, but if you do future updates, I don't know how the terms of that will be ironed out.
Yeah.
Other actor coming back that would not have been on my bingo card, Orson Welles.
Wow. Okay.
Nearly 40 years after his death, Orson Welles is back as a disembodied AI-generated voice in a location-based storytelling app, Story Rabbit. Orson Welles would not have been on my list of iconic voices if you're under the age of 50.
90? So just for our viewers who are young, Orson Welles wrote and broadcasted War of the Worlds, I think pre-World War II, I believe, in the 30s.
Probably.
It was before TV, it was radio.
Yeah.
So back then, radio was your only source of news, and Orson Welles broadcast that Earth was being invaded by aliens, and it came in such a way that people thought we really were being invaded by aliens. It was a big deal.
He went viral before it was a thing. And also his other big claim to fame is he wrote, directed, starred in Citizen Kane.
Yes.
And everything else. And that then became AFI's #1 film of all time.
Supposedly the best movie ever made.
Yeah, that's why I said AFI. I don't know if I would agree with that. It's a good, it's a solid historical film.
I'm blanking, sorry to sidetrack, but I'm blanking here. I think there was a documentary or a mockumentary made about that production.
Oh.
Recently?
Yeah. There was Mank.
That's right. Mank was structured around that entire story.
Yeah, it was about the co-writer.
That's right.
/ person who possibly wrote it all. The Netflix David Fincher film.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
Yeah.
And then another side fact, Orson Welles' I think grandson, Simon Welles, he used to work at DreamWorks with us.
Oh, really?
He was a director for a couple of the films. So yeah, his
my grandfather's Orson Welles.
Yeah, it's like, wait, that's the same Welles? Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't I don't know, I just saw this, but I was just like, wait, Orson Welles?
Yeah, I mean, you could pull back as far as there was voice recordings of an actor, right? Like any bit.
As long as there's enough data, yeah. I mean,
exactly.
I remember, this is another sort of tangent, but I remember a while ago, before generative AI and that was the whole thing, and there were companies trying to work on voice replication.
Yeah.
And Roger Ebert
Yes.
was a kind of big contender and like pushing for that because he had like throat cancer and lost his voice.
Yeah.
But also had thousands of hours of his voice recording, which at the time was kind of hard to come by. And so they were working on creating a digital replicate.
I could totally see that. And before Rotten Tomatoes was a thing, he was the authority, him and Siskel. Was the authority on movies, right?
Yeah,
like
movies,
if they said
reviews.
They had the thumbs up, thumbs down. Like if it was 2 thumbs up, you better go see it.
I mean, they even have their own Muppets spoofing on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were the two. Oh, I can't remember the name of them, but they're in the Muppet Vision show. But they're the two grumpy old guys on the balcony that would always like kind of crap on the Muppet show.
That totally tracks. Okay.
Yeah, it's based on them, on the two of them.
Awesome.
Okay, and next story, going back to IMAX, which is always a fan favorite and our favorite too. So, because of the success of Sinners, there has been a renewed interest in IMAX.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere, or maybe you sent me this article, that IMAX was on the brink of dead.
I don't think I sent you that, but maybe. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, like the company itself was struggling, and now it's just completely turned around.
Yeah, there was one quote from a tweet. IMAX CCO Giovanni Dolci, until this year, I mean, also the success of Sinners and Interstellar. No exhibitor has called IMAX to install film projectors.
That's the one.
Now they're getting calls, and they're installing 70 millimeter IMAX film projectors at about 1 to 5 locations over the next year.
That's incredible.
Yeah, which these are the big, bulky, and as we've talked about too, there were only 10 theaters in the world that were playing Sinners in 70 millimeter IMAX.
Yeah.
So I mean, awesome to hear that. 70 millimeter is obviously a huge lift. So I mean, the IMAX has been doing the digital projectors and the name licensing and the digital projectors, which are slightly bigger. I saw Mission Impossible on the digital projector this weekend.
The digital IMAX.
Yeah, which is like a bigger screen than the one in the movie theater, but it's a lot easier to find those screens.
Which theater did you go to?
The Century City one.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, that's nice.
And was it worth the extra fee? And
I mean, it's a slightly different upcharge. It's worth it. It's not, I mean, look, it's not as big as the Universal or the like true IMAX like screens
the Irvine
that I saw.
Spectrum
Yeah. You know, that would still be awesome, but that's like, there's so few screens, and it's just hard to track them to
for sure.
Like that is a schlep and an event.
I mean, we're taking a step back. Like right after we got out of the pandemic, out of COVID, I think we all realized how important venues are and how important physical experiences are. There was an uptick in obviously concerts, and some of the biggest artists in the world but went back and announced big tours, and Taylor Swift. On top of that, you saw the Sphere being built, being deployed. You saw Cosm is like an entirely new format, and now we're seeing IMAX. And I don't think these trends will reverse themselves because I'm getting a little philosophical here. We're more or less all of us are working remotely. We do more and more of our transactions online. We buy stuff online, so we are just reducing physical interactions as a humanity as a whole, and we're filling that void with these like bigger than life experiences that you have to go to a venue for.
And it gives you a reason to go, because it's like, going to a regular movie theater, it's like, I like the experience and stuff, but if it's just sort of like a drama, like nothing to knock them, but it's like, it's got to be kind of interesting for me to like, we can dish out the money and go to the theater and do a whole thing. But like when it's an IMAX, there's big, and it's like, there's no
it's a spectacle
replication of this at home. It gives you more of a reason to go and to pay the premium for the ticket price.
I mean, like in the 90s, you had a lot mediocre movie theaters than the elite premium ones.
I don't even think that was a concept yet.
Right.
It was, there was barely any stadium seating.
I mean, there was
the
like
very
Cinerama Dome slopey here in LA.
Yeah,
like a couple of those, like,
but most of them were still the kind of slanted theaters where if someone was in front of you, you're like trying to poke your head around, and like the floor is sticky from like spilled soda, like that was never cleaned up.
Because that was the means to an end. That was the only way to consume that movie at that time. Right now we have streaming and all these types of options. So either go big or go home.
And then also what I thought was interesting, so the other kind of next big IMAX film coming out is the F1 film, which was shot digitally, but shot for IMAX. So like that's the other kind of,
it's also
it is a little confusing.
Brad Pitt on it. So
got Brad Pitt.
Big deal.
Fast moving cars. But yeah, after it came out, that Christopher Nolan's Odyssey was going to be like entirely shot in IMAX, there was like a press update where it was like, well, by the way, the F1 film, it was not shot on IMAX, but the entire film is going to be displayed in the 1:90 aspect ratio, the full IMAX ratio. If you're at
that's so Hollywood,
screen.
Right? Yeah. That's like, wait. Just so you know.
Displaying the entire movie in full IMAX ratio.
Can I segue there for a bit? Did you hear that Tarantino approved the sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? And I think David Fincher is going to direct it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I wonder if it's going to be shot on film.
I feel like it should be, right?
It should be.
Maybe it'll be on VistaVision, which is also the other update too.
That's my favorite.
So yeah, they're also going back to the resurgence of film. VistaVision, which we've talked about before, 70 mil. No, I'm sorry, not 70 mil. Fake 70 mil. 35, but shot horizontally, so you can get a lot more image onto the negative. Upcoming slate of films that are being shot on it. Wuthering Heights, 2026. Alejandro Iñárritu's an upcoming film.
Oh, dope.
The Narnia. This one, I'm curious about this. This is also, from Twitter, so it could also not be the most accurate, but the Narnia adaptation.
They're rebooting Narnia?
Yeah, Greta Gerwig, which I know it's a Netflix film, but she pushed them to do a IMAX release. With
VistaVision.
That's why I see this on this thing. I'm like, I don't know how true this is. Because, I know that it is being shot for IMAX. I don't know if it's actually being shot with IMAX. And I know that it's getting an IMAX, like at least a 2-week run, which is something like Netflix doesn't do theatrical releases, but this was like a kind of a controversial push because she had a Netflix deal. She would only do the Netflix deal if they guaranteed a theatrical IMAX release for like a 2 or 4 week run.
I mean, I'm signing up for all of these films, especially the Iñárritu one, because his DP preferably is Emmanuel Lubezki, who did Chivo. Yes, he did Children of Men as well as Revenant. And Revenant was shot with natural sunlight only.
Yeah,
that's crazy, and it looks so beautiful.
Yeah, all this stuff looks amazing.
Yeah,
Children of Men, I love that film.
Yeah,
in a very depressing way.
Just makes you thankful for our society that we have today. Like, dude, I'm glad we don't live in that world.
Yeah, so cool to see IMAX and just film back. Also, this reminds me too of we're coming on the tail end. We're recording this on Memorial Day, the tail end of the weekend. It's supposed to be a record-breaking box office weekend
with Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible
and Sinner's still doing pretty well,
right?
And fourth film in the play that I'm forgetting on, but all of it combined total should be a record weekend. And it reminds me of, the comment from a few months ago of like Seth Rogen, where it's like, it only takes 1 or 2 films to like change the conversation around. And now like IMAX is getting film called up to install 70 millimeter projectors. Like it's a good kickoff for the summer box office. And
I think we're having an excellent weekend. Here are the numbers according to Box Office Mojo. Lilo and Stitch is currently sitting at 145 million. Mission Impossible at 63. Final Destination at 19 million. And then Sinners is still tracking at 8.8 million.
Yeah.
So that's a very healthy box office.
Yeah, and Sinners is like 3rd or 4th week, and it lost all its IMAX screen. So
yeah, I mean, this feels like I'm looking at box office from like 1998. It feels so healthy.
I thought you were going to say it too because you're like Final Destination. Mission Impossible.
So I heard
Lilo and Stitch. What
right,
year
exactly. It does feel like 1998. Absolutely. Somebody, or I don't know if there's a rumor or not, but apparently there's a Final Destination the screening at some theater somewhere in the world, and then the roof fell down on the audience.
Yeah, luckily no one was hurt, so we can laugh about it. But that's crazy. What's crazy too? I think a few months ago, a roof clapped at another theater, and then I think someone was like, "Man, it'd be crazy if this happened at like a Final Destination screening."
Right. Well, I think it's happening because theaters probably aren't investing in new buildings. So these are old buildings.
They don't have the money. Yeah.
And also you're rattling that building day in and day out with like Dolby.
Yeah. Or that Regal 40x or whatever it's called with the seat vibrators.
I mean, those 20 hertz cycles are going to move some walls around.
Yeah. Very appropriate unintentional marketing tactic. And last grouping, a couple tools on each of our radar. All right, so yeah, first kind of tool that I saw under the radar, well, not a new tool because we talked about this before, Manus AI. This was the one that the sort of agentic AI tool that could scour the web and work for you and was in a private access, and reportedly codes were selling for like thousands of dollars.
Yes.
It is publicly available now. Now anyone can sign up for it. So that's been out. But the update that they have now is they have an image generator built in.
Huge.
Yeah, this is interesting because it's not just generate images, but it's using the agent part to go around the web and then combine that into images.
Yeah, it's a really interesting take on what we feel is an AI helper, AI assistant for us. ChatGPT does a really good job of combining an LLM with an image generation tool. However, you still have to kind of give it a nudge. Like, let's say you want ChatGPT to generate you a flyer. It's like a hybrid between an image generation model and an LLM, and very effective at combining the two. So the example here is like, if you want to do a children's storybook, it'll not only generate the imagery for the book, but also fill in the dialogue bubbles and the overall text block.
Yeah. Cool. And I saw was like, if you've seen the ChatGPT examples where you give it a picture of your room and you're like, style this for me, like help me style this. You could kind of do that on Manus, but you could be like, style this with IKEA furniture. It'll go to IKEA, look at what furniture is listed on the website, and then make sure it only uses those kinds of images.
Yeah, and you have the SKUs, and then you can go to IKEA and
so
buy
it's like, here's a picture of your room styled with furniture, and here's where you can buy it.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and with ChatGPT, I think you and I use ChatGPT almost every day. You still have to nudge it a little bit to give it an image that combines with text. So like if you want to build a flyer, first you have to go through the motion of building the text body of the flyer. Then you put it back into ChatGPT and say, okay, now make me a flyer with this text, and then it'll probably generate it. Here, you could probably just say, make me a flyer, that does this, and it'll be more effective at it.
Yeah, or like with this like logo from this brand, and it can go find the logo and generate it. So
and the image generation seems high quality enough for day-to-day tasks,
I'm curious. It wasn't quite clear if this is their image, like their own image generator model, or if they're using their agent stuff and then just using like the chat
probably
GPT
a third party API
or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I would imagine like this is what I was saying is you're going from models to workflows to like a higher level of abstraction where you're just giving the AI system a task and they're figuring out which models, which workflows to use to give that back to you.
Yeah, and that's the future of like with the agentic part where it really because I feel like a lot of things kind of either get mixed up or confused where it's like workflow rules versus agentic. And like true agentic is like it figures out itself what action it should take appropriately. You don't have to be like, if this, then this happens, or if this, then this. It's like, no, it just knows based on the context, like, what should I do?
And just to tie into my visit to Microsoft Build conference last week, the entire emphasis was around agentic AI building. So Microsoft is not going to dictate what agentic AIs you use. They're giving you the tools as a company to build agents on the fly or even deploy agentic build abilities to your consumers. So they'll give you, tools that make an AI safe and trustworthy. They'll give you tools to scale up an agent, control an agent, fine-tune an agent, and all that stuff. But I think that it feels really hard to kind of imagine a world where AI agents do a lot of different tasks for us. But I think it'll become more clearer once we see like an AI agent that only books plane tickets, an AI agent that only figures out your calendar, and an AI agent that only takes reservations for high-end restaurants and so on.
Yeah, I mean, dedicated agents, but then also just the AI knowing, like, based on what you're saying, like, or if you're planning a trip, it's like, well, I'll call up the, you need airfare, you need the car booking, and it just knows to, like, do this.
Yeah, and those are, like, the simple, most obvious examples we can think of. Like, think about the two of us, right? Like, we're doing tons of research to do this podcast. What if we had an agent that's just scouring the internet, gathering stuff, and then knowing our recommendations, our preferences for the certain type of news?
Yeah.
It's like skimming the stuff to the top. Like, that's the kind of agentic behavior we need. And if a company gave us the ability to build that sort of agent with natural language and some of the tools that don't require coding,
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, I saw there was a bit of an update with Zapier and their agent tools, and I haven't dug into it, but it sounds like that's kind of what they're trying to build, where it's like using their vast network of APIs that they already call up, and it's easy, but with an agent back end. So then, because I have Zap, which is like a tons of flow trees or if then, or I've used another tool, Relay, which is also cool, but it's like a lot of like
it's a lot of connecting the dots.
I'm thinking of like the possibilities where it's just like in the future, it's like you don't have to think of all of these flow trees. You just be like, if they do something like this, do this action, or it'll just even know to do it.
I saw a really interesting article, I think I sent to you. It was on Forbes that Microsoft is betting on agentic deployments for companies as the future of its growth. And Google is betting on the consumer use of generative AI and AI agents for its growth. So like one is more enterprise oriented and all about customizing an agent. The other one is like kind of giving you the tools at a consumer level.
Yeah.
Like which one is going to win? Maybe both. Maybe we need both.
Yeah.
But it's a totally different take on two of the biggest tech industries.
Interesting. All right. And then, what did, this is another one that you actually from Google.
Oh, yes.
AlphaEvolve.
AlphaEvolve. Okay, so DeepMind, which is the sort of R&D arm and the AI arm of Google, they're always a couple steps ahead, I think, as far as deploying newer, better models. They just get slept on a lot because OpenAI, Anthropic, and some of those other, they just crystal ball at Runway.
I think usually, but I think ever since Google I/O last week, a lot
Google's
more,
got the spotlight.
A lot more spotlight on Google and a lot more awareness of DeepMind.
Yeah, so one of the challenges with building the next generation of AI models is actually coming up with the advanced algorithms and problem solving that, quite honestly, is reaching the capabilities of the human mind. So like, how do you harness super intelligence to build the next level of intelligence? So I think this is along that term. AlphaEvolve is a coding agent, not like Replicator or some of the other coding agents. This is designed specifically for advanced algorithms. You're talking about very high level math, right? Like PhD and beyond level math. These are going to be math to unlock how the next neural network is built with trillions of parameters. Right? So they're building a tool set for them to build better tool sets.
Okay. So is this like a Matt Damon AI and Good Will Hunting? Like you just need your...
That's probably...
You just need your guy in the hall to solve your problems. And
how you like them apples.
AlphaEvolve is Matt Damon. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, with AI, one of the things I often mock, but it's unfortunately true, is the incredible amount of energy you need, the incredible amount of GPU you need just to be able to do what we're considering 1.0 version of AI, right? So in order to get to 2.0, it's like an exponential increase in the number of GPUs, the amount of energy we use. Doesn't have to be that way. There is advanced algorithms, if you leverage correctly, can give you efficiency in incredible scale. How do you get to it? So now they're deploying advanced algorithm coding agents that could perhaps do some trial and error and get it that way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
This is at like the above cutting edge of research.
But
me too. And I'm just, as you know, I'm describing it in super loose and vague terms because I don't understand the math behind it. But what I do know is, having done mathematical computation with software like MATLAB and PyTorch and TensorFlow, like those are still high-end calculators. It's not actually coming up with the algorithms for you.
I just noticed in their diagram, they have something called Borg scheduling.
Yes.
Google's board system is a cluster manager that runs hundreds of thousands of jobs.
This is just a very big exercise.
Choice of name there. Did they watch Star Trek?
Well, those guys are all nerds, right? I'm sure they're very familiar with Star Trek. Yeah.
Good place to wrap it up with assimilating with the Borg Collective. Well, thank you for watching. Links, as usual, are at denoisedpodcast.com.
And we're going to be at AI on the Lot, so look out for that episode coming up very soon.
Yeah. And if you're there, come say hi. All right. Thanks, everyone. Catch you in the next episode.